Hello and welcome to another Franchise Hockey Manager stream. My name is Adam. I'm the community manager of Franchise Hockey. With me, as always, and digitally pictured on your screen, kind of, is FHM producer Jeff. Say hi, Jeff.
Hey, everybody.
And we are back with Rewriting History, Montreal Canadiens, 1925-26 season, New Challengers Approach, Part 15. Jeff, expansion has happened again, and the NHL has never been bigger in this time in history, at least.
Yep, it'll be at its all-time biggest in. Well, I think it'll be next season. Actually, it'll get up to 10
I mean,
teams, but right now we got
yeah,
7 teams.
Technically, its all-time biggest is 32, Jeff.
Well, up until biggest until 1967, and because it goes down for a little while after that. Uh, Added new teams in. Well, let's just go through all the teams in the league right now. There's not that many of them. The Bruins are in their second season. We traded them Alec Connell, their starting goalies, so that gives them a little stability there. A couple of decent players. They traded Jack Adams to Ottawa to pick up Jimmy Herberts, who's about 5 years younger than Adams and is going to be their best forward this year, but obviously still a pretty thin lineup, and the D after Red Dutton is just terrifying. They're all half-star guys. There's us. We're in pretty good shape. Few injuries. Howie Morenz got hurt in the opener, so he's going to sit out probably a couple of 2-3 games here. And we got a couple other injuries to deal with. The goaltending situation is actually pretty good. As competitive as it's been so far. Waters has been ahead of Chabot for the last 3-4 years, but Chabot's pulled even, so we may give him a little more time this year, although we'll probably still look at moving him in the trading deadline if we can get something good back for him. The other Montreal team, the Maroons, they're in their this is their second year. Nowhere near as good as us. They've got Joe Primo, who will be pretty good in a few years, and a couple other decent young players, but they went young rather than trying to pick up veterans. And it's going to take them a while to build up. So we'll see how far they get in the limited time they've got to exist. New York Americans. This is the Hamilton Tigers. They've moved there in the off season, and they were building a pretty good team. They had I think, pretty good playoff run against us last year. If I remember right, we had to beat them in was it game 3 or game 5?
Yeah, I think something like that.
Yeah, they took us right to the limit. They got Frank Boucher, who was historically out in the Western League in this point, but he's going to show up in New York a year earlier than he actually did. And a pretty good collection of other players too. King Clancy, Ace Bailey, a few familiar Hall of Famer names. Clint Benedict, who's been the goalie since they were the Quebec Bulldogs 6 or 7 years ago. He's slowing down a little, but he still may be good for a while yet. So the Americans should be pretty competitive this year. Ottawa, you can't see they've got Tiny Thompson, the starting goalie, is on the injured list, and he'll be there for another week or so. So the goaltending isn't as bad as it looks there, and they've got decent depth, but it gets worse every year. They're getting pretty old. Their key guys, Cy Denny is 33 now. Reg Noble 31. For some reason, they picked up Jack Adams from the Bruins and made him an assistant captain even, but gave up a younger player to get him, so probably not the smartest move for them. So they're slowing down, probably won't be able to keep up with this year. The Pittsburgh Pirates, brand new team, not looking good. Goaltending is awful. A couple of decent players, well, guys who are going to be decent in a few years. Battleship Leduc and Dick Clapper on defense. Forwards are a little more shaky. Harold Dara, who's actually with the Pirates in real life in their first year, so somehow he wound up there in the game as well. But they're not going to be too competitive. We beat them in the opener. And the team that's probably going to give us a bit of trouble this year, if only because they've got George Hainsworth, the best goalie in the league, who we would like to have, but they beat us to him. And I'm trying to see. We traded Snell Stewart injured. Oh yeah, he's out for 2 to 3 weeks with a calf laceration. So they've had some injury trouble early in the year. We traded Stewart even up for, I think we gave him a little extra for Howie Morenz.
It
So
took a bit to get him, yes,
yeah,
if I remember it.
so we'll see how that works out for us. But they're better than they look on this roster screen right now because they're missing a couple of players. So they'll probably be our main competition this year. And back to the Bruins. So already gone through them. Let's just proceed with this and see if our injuries get back in reasonably good time. Okay, Chabot and Gagnon both returning. That's good. Development report. Mostly the younger guys going up. Who's Billy Boucher, our captain. Or no, it's his brother. It's the captain. Sprague Cleghorn also headed downhill. His brother, Brother Odie, we let go this year. His contract was up, didn't re-sign him, and he wound up playing for Calgary this year, the Western League. And speaking of the
Right.
Western League, this is the last year that they'll be challenging for the Cup. In real life, at this point, they were sort of in sell-off mode and were desperately trying to raise money by selling players to the NHL teams. Can't really do that in the game yet, but they'll go under at the end of this season, and we'll see a whole bunch of free agents, which will fill up the teams that are going to be coming into the NHL, because there's going to be 3 new ones. Like we had guys coming back from injury. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to move the screen there. Gagnon, and go in for Hart. Hart's a little better, but I want to develop Gagnon. And yes, stays on the third line. Okay. And again, Boston still in their second year, not very good. Oh, they managed to beat us 6-3. Bit of a surprise. Jimmy Herbert's the guy they picked up from Ottawa with 2 goals.
Now, those are some interesting Boston uniforms at the time.
Which ones are they?
They're really yellow, white, brown.
Oh yeah, when they were using brown as a primary color. They don't look that bad. I'll try throwing Chabot in against the Maroons, just because Waters didn't have a great game, and he comes up with a shutout, 5-0. And old Sprague Cleghorn gets a couple of assists and is the second star. But we lose Billy Boucher. That's not good news.
Depth is taking a bit of a beating.
It's only day-to-day, so he may be back for the next game. Howie Moran's ahead of schedule. That's good news. And looks like he'll be able to go back in. No, we'll leave him out for this game. I don't want to get him hurt, even though we are playing against Toronto. Hart will go in for Boucher for a game, and I'm going to juggle the lines, let the AI do it. There, and narrow 3-2 win over George Ainsworth and the Leafs. And Boucher and Moran's both seem to be back. And did I see... Wow, Boston. Oh, well, Boston's in first place, but they played 3 more games than us, and the Hamilton and / New York Americans are in second. And we've got them next. So, all right, I'm going to switch the lines. Let's just completely redo the lines. Moran's is going in, as is Boucher. And is the power play okay? Yeah, that makes sense. And how do we do against New York? One of the other potential contenders, 3-1 win. And Waters with 45 out of 46 saves. And as soon as we get healthy, we get another injury. Finnegan this time going to go out for a couple of weeks, replaced by Gagnon. And we got Toronto again. And 7-3 win. That's pretty wide open for this era. The goals are really starting to dip in these next season or two. Good, nice game ratings all the way around, though. So we're off to a 5-1 start.
Not bad.
And the declining Ottawa Senators, I'll throw Chabot in against them. Yeah, 3-2 loss. So the Senators have a little bit left in them. Babe Dye gets the first star. And should have an easy win against the Bruins here. Yeah, 4-0 win this time. But Morin's got hurt again. Just a little hamstring tightness day to day. And is Finnegan back ready to play? Yes, he is. And I will leave Morin's in the lineup. Hopefully he doesn't get hurt any worse. 4-1 win. And not hurt, or not injured any worse, but still day to day. So we got the Maroons up next. And 4-0 shutout, so we're really starting to roll now. Another development report. Chabot went up again. And other than that, mostly the younger players. And, oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of veterans going down. That's not great news. McCaffrey's down to half a star. Oh wait, did I... Oh, did he, Oh, he's injured. Is he on the injured list? Oh, I did that before the start of the game. That's why I'm confused. That's why I didn't see him.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. And another Pittsburgh game. Chabot, he improved a little. We'll give him that one. Should be an easy win. And 3-1 win. Although the Pittsburgh goalie makes 41 saves on 44 shots, so he's the first star. Morin seems to be back to 100% now. Good timing because we're playing against the Americans. And a narrow 1-0 win. Now, are we almost healthy? McCaffrey I can put back on the active roster now, although... No, he's still red, but send Buswell down. And the St. Patrick's soon to become the Leafs. And we beat them 6-4.
It should still be the St. Patrick's.
Write a letter. Tell them to... Maybe that's the problem with them. They go back to the old name, they'd start winning cups. Clearly that's the only issue. Okay, a couple of back-to-back games here, so we'll open the... Whoops, somebody's hurt. Morin's again, shoulder strain.
There was something they said, like, what was near to... I saw Instagram reel or something. It might have been from, like, BR Open Ice or somebody else. What's close... Or maybe it was Steve Dangle. What's closer to the Leafs last winning the Stanley Cup? And it was like the beginning of Babe Ruth's career. Was the first thing.
We lose
the
3-2 in
Titanic
overtime to the Bruins again, so the Bruins are beating us for some reason.
The Titanic taking off and sinking. Closer to the Leafs winning the cup than current day.
Media is criticizing Buck Boucher, our captain. See, I'm just starting to get along with the media, and it's the Montreal media, so I don't want to say anything against the captain. Let's just go with no comment on that. And hopefully, I think our team harmony is, team harmony is fine. And, oops, job security is the one I wanted. Media is critical of me. At least they're not openly hostile of me, but the best I can expect.
Yet.
Yeah. And with the back-to-back, go with Chabot again. Waters is red hot, though, so it looks like he's going to hold on to his job for this year. And St. Patrick's beat us 2-1 with the backup and goal. So maybe you shouldn't have done that. Oops, Moran's was healthy there. And the other Montreal team again should be pretty easy to beat them. 3-0 win. I'm just going to take a quick look at how these stats are going because, you know, Moran's getting hurt so much. He hasn't really produced that much this year. And surprisingly, the two defensemen are leading us in points, which is really weird for this era. And Ottawa beats us again, so maybe they're not quite over the hill. Kevin's chilling.
Yeah, it says how many players are going to lose when the league expands next season?
0, because there ain't no expansion draft. What happened is they wound up the 3 new teams. Well, Detroit pretty much bought out Victoria of the Western League when they went out of business, so they got their whole roster. And the Rangers were mostly Western players. Boucher came back, and a few others, and they wound up winning their division next year. We also go to 2 divisions in the upcoming season as well, but we'll get to that in a bit. But that we won't really lose anybody. Okay, and Pittsburgh wants to trade a 1-star player for Chabot. No, that ain't happening. We may not be using him, but we're not giving him up that cheaply. And back on track at the 4-2 win against the Americans. And Ottawa surprisingly leading the league right now, or at least tied with us right now.
The New York Americans logo, I don't know why it just hit me. It's a license plate.
No, like a souvenir license plate, maybe.
Yeah, pretty much.
Lettering. And we got another game against them here, so make it 2 in a row. Yes, we can. 3-0. And now it's other center, Duke Keats, getting hurt, and Hart, the extra forward, is hurt as well. But Keats is only day-to-day, so we won't take him out of the lineup. And we got another trade proposal. Oh, that's a little more interesting. He's only showing 1.5 stars here, but Tech Kilray is going to be because the real career he lasted until the beginning of World War II, and had some big seasons in the upcoming years. That big one, huge one in 29-30. But does
Tempting.
now he's from Ottawa, so but he never played for Montreal. The house rule in this game is we can only take players who are either French Canadian, born in Quebec, or played for the Canadiens in real life. And Kilray didn't do any of those, so I'm gonna pass on him right now.
Well, though you have stretched it to just Montreal teams in general.
Well, we did that, yeah, because it was a little thin it was a 3-team league and there weren't that many players. But don't really have to do that now, and we beat Ottawa in overtime, put up 52 shots on Tiny Thompson. But still just barely won, and the trade deadline is today, so let us have a look. Transaction screen, and yeah, Chabot is far and away the best player on the trading block. See a few decent players, but none that really would fit for us. Let me just try shopping them and see if we get any interesting offers. And what do I want back? Do I want to set? No, I'll take whatever I can get because I can't specify players by the house rules. And we get, Dunk Monroe, who we let go to the Maroons. Or a 2nd-round pick from Pittsburgh. Yeah, no, not doing either one of those. Who is desperate for goaltending? Anybody? Bruins are fine. The Maroons need somebody, but... wait. Joe Primo. I know he's from Ontario, but is Primo French enough to for us to trade for him?
No.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Well, Leo LaFrance would be, but that's not really a good enough return. Could I? No, there's not really anybody other than that. Let's see. The Maroons could use a goalie because Benedict's getting old. But well, let's take another run at Boucher just on the off chance we can get him, but I don't think that's going to work. Yeah, Kim, it's he's French enough, just not good enough.
Ah,
Where are my goalies? At the top, obviously. Okay, and Chabot actually did play for the Americans, so we move him. That would be semi-historical.
Miss Jones says surely a guy named LaFrance
Yeah,
is French enough.
that's what I was just saying.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I was got slightly distracted.
Okay. See, we're gonna have to add more, but I don't think there's anything much we can get coming back from the Americans. Gonna try throwing in Frank Finnegan. Two decent young players for Boucher.
Frank Finnegan sounds like he's a Marvel villain or hero.
And the Americans already have 25 players under contract, so we have to take some of their garbage back. George Horn played briefly for the Maroons, so I'll just not actually going to use him. I'll take him in the trade if I have to. And yeah, now we're running into this. They need a really good player, and Chabot's not quite there yet. And I think to make this work is, yeah. No, we're just not going to get Boucher out of them. Ottawa says a Hall of Famer in goal. Pittsburgh has really nothing we'd want. Well, Albert Leduc, but I would want more coming back. Wait, are they in last place? No, they're not. And Montreal's even worse than them, so I was going to get maybe the number 1 draft pick back, but no. And Toronto doesn't need anything, so I think we're going to be in a holding pattern for 1 more year with Chabot, and we're going to have 3 new expansion teams next year to potentially move them to. But I will go with this lineup for now, I think. And yeah, the Boucher brothers both headed down. Clegorn continuing. Corbeau down to 2 stars. And Harry Watson as well. Okay, so we're getting older. Owner is still satisfied. Wants to win now, though. Which makes sense, I guess. Keats is still hurt, so I'm going to throw in Gagnon for that 1 game. And we somehow lose 4-3 to the Maroons. Joe Primo, who wasn't good French enough for Adam, is first star. And Keats is back.
It's not Jacques Primo. Joe. Probably Joe Primo.
And throw Chabot in against the Bruins just because it should be a relatively easy game. And 3-0 shutout for him. And it looks like Clegorn was hurt briefly, but seems fine now. All those fitnesses down a few points, nothing to worry about. 4-1 loss, or 4-1, yeah, 4-1 loss to Pittsburgh, really. And at Kilray, who they were trying to trade to us, but we didn't want as the first star. Wow, we outshot them 58-26, and they still beat us. But fortunately, we get them right back. So, and right now, Billy Boucher's hurt. Day to day, so Gagnon goes back in. And we've actually got the real Canadiens line from this era, the Gagnon, Joliat, and Moran's as our first line right now for the moment. Now we better bounce back here. Yeah, 4-1 win. Much better.
Excellent.
How many games we got left?
Can't be many.
No, the schedule's getting longer at this point. We still got a dozen left.
That's not many.
Yeah. Third of the season. And we are still 2 points back of Ottawa, so Toronto a little disappointing. They're 12-13. I thought they were going to do better, but maybe they've had injuries. And the expansion teams not embarrassing themselves, really. Yeah, 2-1 win, 2-1 loss to Ottawa. At least we're getting Boucher back now, I think. And Howie Moran's has gotten himself suspended for 2 games. Not great. Right, Boucher goes in for Gagnon. Yeah, Boucher goes in for Gagnon. And then I'll swap Moran's for Gagnon and redo the lineup, and let's get a little better result out of the next one, hopefully. Even showed 6-0 win. Much better. And Chabot against the Bruins. And this time we get a 1-AM, a win against them, 4-1. And with Moran's back in from suspension, take a quick look at the stats. Bert Corbeau is still amazingly leading us in scoring. 2-star defenseman. Moran's needs to pick it up a little bit here. And his line mates haven't really been scoring with him out. And Claiborne playing pretty well despite being down to 1.5 stars, and he's got a couple of years left in his contract too. So I don't think he's quite done yet. 4-2 win against Pittsburgh in the first of a back-to-back series against Toronto next. And Chabot will get the second start. And 6-1 win over Toronto. So Toronto just not competitive this year for some reason.
That's what they say most years.
And yeah, still going. 4-1 win over them this time. And let's see, Finnegan's briefly out with a fever. Oops. Another development report. Not as many guys heading downhill this time, at least. And at least one player, Gagnon, going up.
That's a bit of a surprise. No, if nobody's going down, or if you were going down.
Well, we had a bunch going the previous one, so it may have been just an accumulation, and we'll get hit next time. Just looking at the depth chart, nobody ready to move up yet. And Boston again, who's played pretty well against us this year, but again, pretty good result. 2-1 win in overtime. Good God, look at the shots. 82-30, and oh wait, we played a bunch of overtime here. Now, well, it's only like half an overtime period.
That's some pretty bad shooting then.
Or some pretty great goaltending from the guy that we traded to them. And Finnegan back in now, so Gagnon can go out. Mine's still okay, yep. Should be an easy win against the other Montreal team. And it's 3-0. The goalie stats must be pretty spectacular. Yeah, 1.61 goals against average and 7 shutouts, 946 save percentage from Mortars. So we're getting into the super low scoring era, and Chabot's numbers are even better. 7 games. So we may not be scoring a lot, but we're not giving up very few goals. And Pittsburgh again, don't think they're going to change that. Yep, 4-1 win.
So we've advanced all the way to the 1990s hockey. Is that what I heard?
Yeah, something like that. Well, this is even worse than that was. This was, I think, was it 28 where George Hainsworth had 22 shutouts in 44 games?
Something like that.
And we're still 2 points back of Ottawa, so gonna have to fight for it here. 3-1 win against the Americans. That's good. And media praises Billy Boucher. That's fine. Job security. Does media like? Well, the media's only suspicious of me now. Not even critical. That's incredibly warm for the Montreal media. And let's make them even happier by beating the other Montreal team again, 3-0. One more shutout. And Gagnon, who must have had a minor injury, but he hadn't been playing anyhow. Against the Americans again, and another shutout, 2-0. So the goalies are hot going into the end of the season, and that is the end of the season. That was game number 36, yeah. And we just squeaked it out by 1 point, finishing ahead of Ottawa. And I'm not sure if it's 4 teams that make the playoffs this year, but if it is, Pittsburgh has actually upset the St. Patrick's. And none of our guys in the top 10 scoring. That's all Ottawa guys, so they're going to be tough in the playoffs, I think.
Remember when you said they're just about done?
Yeah, they've got a decent goalie, and the old guys are still producing, apparently.
I mean, that team was good for years.
Okay, no, it's only 3 teams in the playoffs at this point, so Pittsburgh did not make it, despite their best efforts. And 2-game total goal series, Ottawa has beaten the Americans 7-4.
You should kind of temper that. You said 3 teams, but that's for this because they're still got to play for the Stanley Cup with the other league. So
yeah, speaking of which, this will be the last year that happens. They're calling themselves the Western Hockey League now, and their playoffs are Saskatoon versus Victoria in the final. Victoria has been by far the best team in the WHL history. I think they've won. Have they won every year? Whoops, no, it's Stanley Cup screen. Yeah, going back to 1918. So it's competitive for the first 2 years, and then Victoria just sort of takes over there. So we'll probably see them in the finals again. But we got to get by Ottawa first. Game 1 of the series. It is a 2-2 tie, a playoff tie. I don't think we ever had one of those before.
did we have? I feel like we had one in an earlier episode of the stream series.
Might have been. But it's a 2-game total goal series, so we got to go back to Ottawa, and I think they've sort of got the advantage here. Another development report. Quickly take a, yeah, a lot of more guys headed downhill. It's like every other month we're getting a bunch of guys sliding.
Time to trade everyone away.
Yeah, we're going to have to restructure the roster soon. Okay, we need a win here to get to the Stanley Cup final. And 3-2 win. Just barely. And did we have to go in? No, we didn't have to go into overtime to do that. All the goals in the second period. So we go up 3-0. They get 2 right back. Quick goals at the near the end of the second, but that's it. And outshot them 42-36, but again, close escape in the playoffs from us. And Billy Boucher has done something off ice, so that's gonna. Oh no, the players didn't care. That's good. So Harmony is still fine. Forgot to mention we're into the classic Canadiens jerseys now, or something reasonably close to them.
I mean, we kind of had been since we got out of the World logo.
Oh, that was last year, wasn't it? Or 2
Was
years
it?
ago?
I don't even know.
I think so. Okay, and Frank Boucher of the Americans gets the Hart Trophy. And the Stanley Cup is starting today. Oops. And not surprisingly, it's Victoria again. So their goaltending has really declined unless they've got somebody hurt. Nope. Just gotten old. Hal Winkler, who... Did he ever... Oh, he had a few games in with the Senators when they were back in the NHA years, 1913, but then went west and has been there ever since and had a pretty good career, but it looks like he's nearly finished. And, yeah, it's pretty much the same as we've gotten that from Victoria teams in the other years. Not much of a D and a bunch of Hall of Famers at forward. So this is scouting for the free agency next year. Oh no, wait, I think the Victoria. Can't remember if we've got that automated where the Victoria guys all go to Detroit. That may be. Oh wait, is this a 2-game total goals? No, best of 5. So first game in Montreal, we should be able to beat them. Yeah, 4-1 win. Easy win in game 1. And sure, I'll agree with the media again. And game 2, another 4-1 win. So we just need to go back to Victoria and get one more win here. And we are 3-time Stanley Cup champions. Is it 3 now? No, 4. Going for our 4th in a row. Can we finish them off here? Yes, we can. 6-3 win.
All right.
So that is 4 consecutive Stanley Cups. That is the end of the WHL. So let's get around to the end of the season here. Oh, got to re-sign players. Who's expiring? Watson was declining, but he's only 27, so I'll give him another contract. Joliat, absolutely have to re-sign. And Billy Boucher.
You mean the savior of La Belle Canadienne?
Okay, and anybody on the minor league, like Sammy Hebert was the backup, just because I couldn't find anybody else. Might as well re-sign Hart just for depth, in case one of the other guys goes downhill. Oh, Gagnon, definitely want to get him re-signed. Gaudreau still has a little bit of potential there, so why not? Okay, so we'll call you a real prospect then. And no problem getting everybody re-signed. So good shape for next year. And yeah, Corbeau's still going down. I think McCaffrey is done with us. I think we used him at all this year. Buswell continuing to improve, so he'll replace him on D next year. And my contract was renewed. That's good news. And extend the 2 staff members, and we are to June 30, the July 1 changeover, and 70 points. I think that might be a new high. And I'm getting close to max ratings here, so don't have a lot of choices to make. We're looking at doing some things with this next year, so this doesn't, you won't get in this position where you're nearly perfect.
Your ratings are going to decline.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have been playing the game for 17 years now, and won a ton of, I think, how many Stanley Cups now?
4?
Isn't it in Team Data Screen? What am I looking for? Oh, no, it's on the... Oh, I'm looking at I'm thinking of the league. Okay, no, I'm not saying there's a screen that shows how many championships we've... You know what I'm talking about, right?
I'm
sorry. I'm an idiot. Sorry, that's a history screen. I don't know why I didn't look there. So yeah, 6 championships.
Oh.
Although it's not really tracking those, it's league championships, but I think we've won the Stanley Cup in every year that we've won the league championship, so it's technically equal, but 5 out of the last 6 years and the last 4 consecutively.
That's not about right.
And everything done. Yep. Take it over to the start of the new season. Take a second, and the Western Hockey League is now out of business, so we got a whole bunch of free agents. Four consecutive championships is amazing, and one more will be one of the greatest dynasties ever. So the owner is very happy with this. Historical notes, you can see what, there's the whole WHL going under. They actually continued for a little while after this, but it wasn't really as a top-level league. And the Portland players from WHL have become the Blackhawks, and the Victoria Cougars are now the Detroit Cougars, which were, well, at least for a little while, because they, apparently the fans in Detroit didn't know what a cougar was.
I could see that.
It's presumably a Western term. And NHL's have it as a 3-round playoff now. But speaking of, and this is the lineup this year. Now we've got all these new teams. Detroit, who's, there we go. Yeah, they've filled out their roster with Victoria's players, so they're going to be good next year. That's a very solid core. They just need a goalie. Unfortunately, we don't think they've got anybody we would want to get back in a trade. And the Blackhawks are the former Portland team from the WHL. Still good for an expansion team, not quite as good as them. And the Rangers are on their own, but should be pointed out that and yeah, that's the weird Rangers logo from this year. The Rangers actually wound up winning their division in real life this season. because they grabbed, there were a lot of WHLers up for grabs. But going back to Detroit for a second, they were actually not the Detroit Cougars this year. They were really the Windsor Cougars. That is the Windsor Arena as it looks now. In 1926, it was the Border Cities Arena. And Detroit played their first season there while they were waiting for the Olympia to finish construction in Detroit, which lasted them another 50 years or so. But so technically they're a Canadian team this season, even though they're playing in the American division. So they'll have gone south across the border to Windsor and playing in, it's not a huge arena, but it's by the NHL standards of the day, it wasn't that far off. I mean, Boston was playing in a very small arena their first few years. So perfectly suitable arena, and it's later the home of the Windsor Spitfires of the OHL up until 2008, and still standing until they knock it over and build some houses, which is apparently the plan in Windsor now. Or housing.
Kind of sad.
Not houses, yeah. But I mean, we need housing in this country.
Yeah. Again, I don't. Yeah. How much is getting used anymore?
Now, the free agent center. Oh, did we not get many players moving over? I got to double check that. Let me have a look on the signable list. Okay, yeah, I think we got an extra filter on that free agent center screen in historical to make it work more or less properly, but I'm not seeing a lot of potential signees for us. Very elderly Dick Irvin, whose son would go on to coach the Canadiens, but...
See, I would allow that.
Don't really want him, though. We've already got 3 good centers.
I know, but that at least makes sense. His son played for you?
But we do have here Pete Belfoy, who's, his name is even the Fleeting Frenchman. So I think that's a legitimate guy for us to try for.
Trois Rivières.
Been playing for Calgary, so let's
Offer him a contract.
And anybody, I'm just going to scroll down the old biography list here and
Langlois sounds French, Kim Schillen said.
Yeah, Portneuf, Quebec. And he's a winger defenseman. I think we'd want him as a defenseman. Oh, a little old.
Superstar.
And actually played for the Canadiens for
a year?
Briefly in a year, the year after this
32
one.
games, yeah. Wow.
How am I doing on contracts here? Oh, its contract limit is up to 50 now, so I can grab as many guys as I want, so.
Which is probably good, because if you don't, somebody else will.
Yeah. And I also want to take a quick look. We got a better third string goalie, particularly if I wind up trading Chabot. Yeah, not much of a selection. Any of these guys from Quebec? American, Scotland. Herb Realm. Ford on the list was he? Well, he's 1 star at least, so I'll sign him as the third string guy.
Or try to, at least. I mean, you still have a draft coming up.
Yeah. And I think we've got all of our picks here, don't we? Oh, we've actually got, I forgot we traded for that Alec Connell trade. We got Boston's back this year.
Yeah.
Or did we shuffle that around a bit? I can't remember. Oh, Belfoy's negotiating hard. 1870 for 3 years. Make it an even 2,000. See if he likes that. My law says our offer's a joke. Come on, man. You can have 1,900. And Rayom is happy with his. Okay, better offers now. So the draft. Well, it would be nice to get George Mantha, but he's obviously going to be going pretty high, and it's fairly weak draft year. Who's going first? We got the fourth overall from Boston and 10th. So I still don't think we're going to get anybody very good here, but go ahead with it. Mantha does go to the Rangers. Cecil Dillon to the Cougars. And Doug Young to the Hawks. Normie Smith, I don't think he's, no, Toronto, and played for the Wings, the Maroons briefly, so not really. Baldy Northcott, Western guy, career Maroon. Russ Blinko, I know he was a Maroon. Lots of guys who played, oh, I know he's from Shawinigan. Like former Prime Minister Chrétien. So I will take Russ Blinko with that Bruins pick.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
Jean Chrétien from Shawinigan.
So I was going to be given a Shawinigan handshake.
Yeah, okay, and picking till a human.
You got that image queued up?
Not Andy. Can you get it for me?
Oh, I can, yes.
The non-Canadians, a Shawinigan handshake is when our former Prime Minister choked a guy. With our own draft pick, I'm not seeing a lot of options here. Yip Bradley. Not enough parents naming their kids Yip nowadays. Okay, Paul Runge is briefly a Canadian, so as is Stuart Evans. And Evans
you know what?
a
That's
little better.
Getting close on to 30 years since that happened.
Yeah, that's about right.
96.
I think Chrétien's still alive. He's in his 90s now, isn't he? Must be up there.
Yeah, I think he's touching 90. I sent you the link, or sent you the image. He has just turned 90.
Posted in the chat. It's easier to get up that way. So I'll grab Evans because he was national Canadian. Next pick. Not seeing any French guys. Any. Oh, there we go. Pete Pelangio. I vaguely recognize that name. I'll take him. And with our fourth rounder, not really much left. There we go. That's the Shawinigan handshake. To be fair, I think the guy was being kind of obnoxious. I'm not seeing anybody here to draft. Oh, wait, there we go. Charles Irvin from Quebec.
Charles. The Charles Irvin.
And Belfoy is wanting even more money now. Oh, he's up to $27.50. That's getting a little pricey. So, draft is over. Let's advance to the next day. Still going. $38.50. He's like double his original demand by now. So other teams are trying for him. There we go. Finally got him. As did Langlois and Ryome. And numbers, no, you cannot have Howie Morenza's number, but you can wear number 9 for the Canadiens. Pretty good deal, if you ask me. Langlois
Seems
gets
wrong.
21.
What's going to happen when you don't draft him?
Oh, Richard, yeah, that may wind up being a Morenz thing where we have to trade our best player for him. That'll be coming up in, well, it's not another 13, 14
Too far.
years. Yeah. Okay, so our unsigned player list, and we can get most of these guys signed because of the contract. Limit is way up this year. Blanco, our first pick. The only ones I'll really ignore are the half-star potential ones. And leave Lux and Pelangio alone for the moment, unless they start showing some unexpected potential. And that should cover our off-season. Anybody on the regular free agent list after the draft? Nothing really interesting. What about the, if I check signable? Nope, looks like everybody, most of the guys have been snapped up from the Western League. A few of them kicking around, but nobody I'd really necessarily want to add. Oh. But just to see where he is now. Oops. Did George Vezina retire? Yes, he retired. So it's actually, well, I mean, technically he retired this same season in real life, but he was sort of involuntarily retired. He played one period and had to leave a game with tuberculosis and passed away shortly thereafter. So it goes out on a happier note here as he plays one last season with Vancouver after we let him get away. So there's what...
I'm sorry. Who let him get away?
I let him get away. Okay.
That's better. Yeah, that's better.
15 years we could have had a Hall of Fame goalie, but we did not because I let him go to Vancouver. Okay, all those contracts will get signed. And we'll just take it. I'm going to run it forward a little bit, but I'll probably do most of that offline. And more numbers. I think I'll just get us around to the start of the exhibition season in camp.
Well, that's fine. I mean, we were over 10. Then we started a little bit late
Started
tonight.
a little bit late. But the divisional setup is not great for us this year. Is the Toronto, the Americans, and Ottawa, 3 established teams, and the Maroons are in the Canadian division with us, and 3 expansion teams, and the relatively new Bruins and Pirates are in the American division. So be a whole lot easier on those other teams. And what is the starting date? Yeah, November 2nd, which is incredibly early for at least relative to when the schedule, when the NHL schedules had been beginning up until this point. Okay, that gets us up to the start of the regular season. Just going to sim the other games so we can see what the rosters wound up as and leave ours unplayed because I want to get the lines and everything set up, and I'll probably do that off screen so we can move through next season fairly quickly. But let's see how the new teams are looking. So Chicago, decent in goal, some depth. And they got Dunk Monroe from the Maroons somehow. So not a bad team. And Detroit, formerly Victoria, big problem in goal. Joe Ironstone, who I don't think has played in the league since, or has he ever played? Oh no, he had 2 games in the last NHA season with the Senators, and now 8 years later he's starting for Detroit. So Detroit has got some good players, but no goaltending at all.
To be fair, that is a great name, though, for a goaltender. Like that last name, Ironstone.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. And the Rangers, did they manage to, well, they did a pretty good job signing free agents from the WHL, but not quite as good as the actual Rangers did, because Lester Patrick moved over to run them and grabbed all the good WHL guys. But they've got Red Green, not the comedian. Let's see, Bill Holmes from Saskatoon, who's coming off a pretty good year. Stan Brown, also from Saskatoon. Collection of Edmonton and Vancouver guys. Patty Byrne, who'd been the goalie in Calgary for a few years, but he's only 1 star, so I don't think the Rangers are going to be quite as good as they were in real life this first season. Pittsburgh get any better? Well, they got a goalie, but he's only 18. They are getting better, but it won't be in time to help them. Montreal, Primo's up to 3 stars. What kind of a year did you have last year? 20 points. Yeah. But yeah, you can see the depth is developing. It's still a young team, so that'll probably pay off in a few more seasons. Toronto is still strong despite the off year last year. Bruins still around same, just like they were last year, around the same key 3 guys: Connell, Dutton, and Herberts. They need to pick up more than that, I think, so they're not probably going to be that great. Thinking in that other division, Detroit is probably going to run away with it, just with the former Cougars players and whatever else they picked up here. I'm just going to check their transaction log. Signed Ironstone. And yeah, a couple of miscellaneous free agents, but basically they're the Victoria Cougars. They're the Windsor Cougars for this season. Oh, well, what happened to, we had a guy in the WHL. Oh, Couture was returned to us. Wait. Yeah, that's right. We wound up, I forgot about him getting his contract back after the WHL folded. So we have got pretty good depth this year. In fact, it's going to be fairly tough fitting all of these guys into the lineup. Prospect rankings wise, well, we're not even 4th best in the league. In Toronto's number 1, and our positional rankings, we should be number 1 here. Yes, easily. And Rangers last. So I think we've got a pretty good shot at getting our 5th consecutive cup, and this time we can do it within the league. The playoffs are going to be a little longer, but we won't have to play another league's champion at the end of it. So do you want to wind it up there, Adam?
Sure, with that. Thank you very much for tuning in to another Franchise Hockey Manager stream. We typically stream every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/franchise hockey manager, as well as twitch.tv/OOTP developments. All of our streams are archived on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/OOTP developments as well, with stream archives going live Saturdays at about 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for our European viewers. You can also reach out to us on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/franchise hockey manager. On Twitter, we're at franchise hockey. You can find a link to our official Discord in our Twitter bio or on our website, which is ootpdevelopments.com. Click on the community button in the top right-hand corner, which will bring you to official forums where you can come talk about Franchise Hockey Manager, Out of Park Baseball, Perfect Team, Go, or anything else you wish to discuss. Jeff, did I miss anything?
No, I think we covered pretty much everything. Not too much news to report on the development side. Working on FHM 11, obviously. And still on an off chance we might do one more update. We found a bug we didn't really like, so we're just kind of waiting and seeing if anything else crops up in the next few days. But we may do one more hot fix to just fix that last lingering little issue. But we'll see about that. There may be a little bit more to it than that. We'll wait and see. But other than that,
Right, you heard it here first.
Yeah, we'll be back next week with Adam's Pittsburgh Penguins game.
Yeah, we didn't get fired.
Yeah, we didn't get fired, and we're on. I guess we're doing the draft and free agency, and you got a lot of moves to make. Steve Stamkos.
Well, we already made the biggest move, which is Utah is now officially in the league.
Yeah, did you call him the Yeti?
You have to tune in to find out what we did.
Okay, well, that's what they should be. And so yeah, and you've got Evgeny Malkin has left as well, so you got some holes to fix this season, but a lot of money to spend on free agents. So
and lots of draft capital.
Yep. So check with us next week, and we can see how that all goes. So thanks for coming out, and we will see you a week from now.